The Japanese Grand Prix is on this weekend, and I wanted to have a look at why this is such a special race on the Formula 1 calendar, why Suzuka is such an incredible venue to watch racing at, and just give my thoughts on the overall event, because this is very much a cornerstone event of the Formula 1 calendar. It's been on the calendar continuously since 1987, except for a few seasons where, of course, we did miss due to the pandemic. And during that time, it has almost exclusively been held at Suzuka. Of course, we did race at Fuji between 2007 and 2008. There we go. And we also raced at Fuji as well a couple times in the 1970s as well, of course, famously hosting the title decider in 1976 between James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Watch the film Rush if you've never seen it before. Just watch the live broadcast of the race. It was an incredible event, really. But why is the Japanese Grand Prix so special? What makes it such an incredible event on the Formula 1 calendar? Well, for me, there are three main factors, I'd say, really, when it comes to this. The first is the circuit itself. So Suzuka is an absolute slalom of a track. I just did the fast facts, and basically for the entire first sector, apart from the very start of the straight, you don't really hold the steering wheel straight. It is constant corners. Every corner around this track is difficult. The S's are an onslaught of left, right, heavy G-forces that are laterally pulling your body from side to side. It absolutely eats the tyres for breakfast, and if you get it wrong in Suzuka, it's one of the few tracks on the calendar where there's not really that much runoff. If you go off, you're in the gravel, you're in the grass, and you're not coming back with at least some damage on your front wing or a lot of gravel chips in your actual car's vents, which is not ideal, of course. So it really, really does punish mistakes. I mean, even corners like the Degners, they're really, really, well, the first one's a really, really fast right-hander, and the second one's a very slow right-hander as well. The hairpin, again, even that, lockups are very, very common into there. It's very difficult. The spoon curve as well, that's a fantastic corner. Going through to the 130R, which, of course, these days is an easy flat corner, but you think about the forces that are going through these cars. They are apexing that corner at 190 miles an hour, are the F1 cars. They are absolutely on rails around this track. It's fantastic to see. It does mean that overtaking is difficult around here, but at the end of the day, on top of that, you got to also kind of put into perspective the fact that, overtakes are therefore, they're a lot more special. It's going closer to what we used to have back in the old days of Formula 1. There is a DRS zone here, like there is around every track, but there's only one of them, so it's not like it's easy to pass at all. So I do like that. It's kind of a throwback. And on that theme as well, the layout of Suzuka has remained pretty much unchanged since the 80s, since they first started racing here in Formula 1. It's not really changed. And since that's the case, you can really directly compare the performance of cars. I think the only change they've really done is that they reprofiled the 130R after Alan McNish had a really nasty crash in, I want to say 2002, in his Toyota. They reprofiled it then, but other than that, the track, apart from like the runoff areas and stuff, it hasn't really changed that much. So you can directly compare the likes of Senna to Schumacher to Hamilton in terms of how these cars perform and how they are, getting on the track. And, when it came to the point when, example, the 130R was, a flat corner eventually, and it wasn't always the case. You used to have to lift going into that corner back in the day, back when aerodynamics were not as complex. The weather as well is something we've got to talk about. There's been incredibly wet races around Japan, of course, over the years, which has made it a very dangerous track. Of course, it did tragically claim the life of Jules Bianchi, rest in peace. But, for the most part, when there is bad weather here, it does become a real challenge. And I do like that about the track. It is a very, very difficult track, even in dry conditions, and in the wet, it becomes even more tough. Some of the wet races around here have been absolute all-time classics. Look at the 1994 race, for example. That was an absolutely incredible event. So that also adds into it. But we got to talk about the fans. Now, for me, the Italian fans and the British fans, they're some of the best in Formula 1. The Italian fans have the most passion. The Brits, we really do show up in incredible numbers to Silverstone, despite it being a very, very expensive event to actually attend. But the Japanese fans, they're very unique. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of Yuki Tsunoda fans there this weekend. We used to have a lot of fans of the likes of Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher back in the day as well. I can imagine Max has a lot of fans out there right now in Japan as well, probably Hamilton too. But, you got to talk about the Japanese fans because they are absolutely unique in that they support everybody. Now, I don't mean that as in, they all support everybody. I mean that in the terms of there's always going to be a fan for somebody. You know, back when there was the days of the back markers, the true back markers, like, you know, the likes of Manor and Lotus, Caterham, HRT, whatever they were called at that time, you would find fans of those drivers in the race. You know, there will always be a fan for somebody. They are incredible, and that kind of support, that kind of that love and affection to every single one of the drivers is something that I don't think we really see on that kind of level anywhere else in the world. You know, it's incredible to see. This has been an event that has always been really well attended. I mean, I looked up the attendance figures, even going back to the 1980s and 1990s. Back when Formula One, yeah, it was popular, but it wasn't as popular as what it is now. And it wouldn't be uncommon to see empty stands or empty parts of stands in a lot of European and South American and North American races in particular. Formula One in North America back in the day. Oh boy, camel races used to get more people attending them in Phoenix. True story. But, you know, Japan has always been really, really well attended. Hundreds of thousands of people flock into this track every single year to watch the Japanese Grand Prix. And, you know, the fans really, really do make it cool. And something that's really nice as well, I mean, we do lose out on the fact that Japan is no longer a race where we'll ever see any more championship deciders unless it moves back to later in the year. But, you know, back in the days when it was later in the year, you get all these championship deciders. That's really amazing to look back on the history of it. It's got so many incredible moments. I've tried to summarize it in my 5 moments thing, but it's tough. You could pick 20, 30 easy for Japan. But being early on in the year now, you know, you do get the cherry blossoms in April, which, again, as if you're a fan wanting to attend the event from another country, it's another thing to kind of entice you to go. I'd absolutely love to go. It's top of my bucket list is Japan. I'd love to go in general, but to go and watch Formula One there, yeah, if I could do that too, that'd be awesome. See the cherry blossoms as well. Hell yeah, let's do it, man. But yeah, I mean, I could go on about Japan for a very long time. I think it's, without a doubt, one of the cornerstone events on the Formula One calendar, and it should be protected. Just like the British Grand Prix, the Monaco Grand Prix, Belgium, Italy. I know Belgium's not protected anymore, but that's what should be protected. I think it absolutely should be. And for me, honestly, it is one of only 2 events on the Formula One calendar outside of Europe where I'd be like, we need this event. If we don't have this race, it is not a Formula One World Championship. The other one, if you're wondering, in my opinion, is Brazil. You know, you absolutely need a Brazilian Grand Prix, and I think you absolutely need a Japanese Grand Prix as well. But those are my kind of thoughts on it, guys. I did a video similar to this last year as well, but you know how it is. I mean, back then I was filming it on my phone, just not even editing it really. It's a bit better quality now, I'd like to think, with this proper webcam and better editing skills, because I didn't have any back then, basically. But yeah, hope you have a fantastic week, guys. Let us know your favourite memories of Japan and who do you think is going to win the Grand Prix this weekend. Your thoughts in the comments below. Have a great week ahead, guys. See you very soon.